Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how to price your social media services. Okay, so maybe you saw TikTok or maybe you saw an Instagram post and you heard about this wonderful world of social media and becoming a social media manager. You have some kind of interest in creating content for others. So wherever you're at on this journey, you're probably a little bit newer in your journey, or you are an influencer and you're looking to grow into a social media agency owner, or wherever you're at. Listen, pricing is some of the hardest, most difficult, time-consuming pieces and components of your business. And not only is there math involved, we often correlate our worth and our well-being to what we charge. So I want to walk you guys through how I used to price my social media services when I was a social media agency owner, and kind of give you a couple tips and tricks to kind of help you figure out this crazy world. All right, I do have to start with something that's a little bit fluffier and doesn't require math. So you might love this, you might hate this. And I guarantee you've probably heard this around the internet at some point, but you have to define who your ideal customer is before you can even start pricing. Because there's going to be a big difference if you want to work for a small mom and pop restaurant, or you've decided that you want to work in small business and that's your niche. You're going to have to charge them slightly different than you would a much larger corporation. And now I don't want you to think that means that your worth is less, or, if you're working with somebody with a smaller budget, but you're just going to have to charge accordingly for your services. So for instance, when I first got my start in social media, and I was working for a local small clothing boutique and really found a niche working with small women-owned businesses that either had a small team or were solo entrepreneurs. That was my jam. Most of them provided a service, and I just absolutely loved working with those women. Now, the thing that I had to realize is that, yes, I love working with these small business owners. I had enough experience in the marketing industry, in working in social media, that when I grew my agency, I still wanted that boutique feel and I still wanted to charge accordingly. I wasn't going to discount my services just because I was working with small business owners. Instead, I found a beautiful niche that allowed me to work with, again, those small women-owned businesses that were a little bit further along in their business. They were working between 3 and 10 years. They had a solid foundation in their business, and they had a little bit higher of a budget. And again, this isn't to discount who you are. You should always charge accordingly, but you're going to have to realize that you could possibly charge a corporate client $5,000 to $7,000 a month, provide a high level service that could maybe be one or two of your clients, and you would be hand-holding them the whole way through. Whereas when I worked as a social media manager for these small women-owned businesses, I was charging anywhere between $1,500 and $3,500 a month. So yes, it's a smaller package. I wasn't providing as much of a service, so obviously there was a little bit less, but I was working with people that I absolutely loved working with, and I was still able to charge my worth, take on a couple more clients, and as I grew my agency, I kind of switched this model, but there's always a give and take here. The donut shop right down the road that only takes cash and makes the best apple strudel donut you can find, they might only be able to afford $1,000 a month for a social media manager. So rather than giving them a post every single day, you're going to want to create a package that works for you to make sure you're not overworking and undervaluing yourself. Maybe you do 3 posts per week or something like that. Whereas, if you're working with like a jewelry company, they might have a bigger budget. They might have the allocation to give you $5,000 a month, and they are requiring 1 reel per day, a tweet per day, and they want to have reporting and this, that, or the other. So you're always going to want to make sure that no matter who your ideal client is, you're always charging your worth, but defining that ideal client is going to give you a base and a foundation for where you can start setting your average package rate. Then from there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to reverse engineer. So now that we kind of have a range of what you want to charge based on your ideal client, based on doing some market research and seeing what they can afford, what their budgets are, now you're going to want to decide how much you want to make each and every month. So when I first started out, I was like, I need to hit at least $10,000 a month based on what I was paying my team, based on my outsourcing, based on expenses, how much I wanted as an owner for my salary. There were a lot of different components that go into that, but I was like, I need to make at least $10,000 a month. So what I started to think about, my average package rate at the time was around $1,500 to $2,000. And so I would need anywhere between 5 and 7 clients to make sure that I was hitting that mark. 5 to 7 clients ended up being a little bit too much for me for this level of service I was providing, my team, things like that. So I eventually dwindled down to just 4 clients per month, charging at least $2,500. So that is just, I made sure that no matter what, I was keeping those retainer clients, and then any additional income I made from other sources was just extra income. But I was making sure that I was hitting that $10,000 monthly average that I needed to make sure I could run my business and to make sure I was making a profit and things like that. So you're going to want to reverse engineer. Your number in the beginning might be, okay, I just need to make $3,000 a month to, because I still have my 9 to 5 and I just want some extra income and I need to pay taxes and everything on it. So maybe you think, okay, I need to make $3,000. Let's reverse engineer that. I need 3 clients at $1,000 a month. And that is something that you can manage alongside your 9 to 5. So think about your number and don't just throw a number out there. I know I use 10,000 just because that's what worked for me. Again, I had other sources of income coming into my business as well. But really sit down and think about what that number looks like. Take a look at your expenses. See how much you want to pay yourself. Don't forget about taxes, things like that, and reverse engineer the process. And I know this sounds kind of complicated, but I do have an exact formula to give you guys, but you're going to have to get it in my pricing workshop. So if you found any kind of value out of this YouTube video today and you still feel like you want a little bit more, I do have a pricing workshop where I break down exactly how you calculate this number for yourself, calculate your average package price, and I give you prime examples of what I used in my social media agency and how I grew my pricing structure. And you guys can find that in the description below. It is a $97 workshop that you will have for the rest of your life. You guys can find that link in the description below. And it is just a 45-minute workshop, so you can have your pricing set in less than an hour, and it's just $97. So make sure you guys head there if you're wanting a little bit more help with pricing your social media services. All right, you guys, that's all I have for today. I will see you next week.